As you know, the stakes are higher than ever, and young people will make the critical difference in November. Young people broke new ground and made history in 2008, and we're fired up and ready to go to re-elect President Obama this year. We're all here today to speak with First Lady Michelle Obama. But before we do, I'd like to first turn it over to Ronell Chapman. Ronell is a member of the class of 2014 at Hampton University in Virginia and serves as the president of the Political Science and Pre-Law Club at the university. Please join me in welcoming Ronell.
Thank you, Felicia. My name is Ronell Chapman. I'm a junior at Hampton University in Virginia. Like the First Lady, I'm from Chicago. I started volunteering for President Obama when I was 12 years old. He was running for U.S. Senate, and his passion and purpose was sparking in young kids' mind. I've been with them ever since. Seeing everything that President Obama has done to move our country forward and how easily we could be taken backward, I'm even more committed this time around. So I've been working with the campaign on my campus to register voters and educate them about the candidates and the issues. I tell people how hard President Obama has worked to help students like us go to school. Tell them that my mom's a middle school teacher who knows firsthand how the president is investing in education, and I tell them how President Obama is fighting to build our economy out from the middle class, not down from the top, so that everybody got a fair shot at success. An older gentleman told me recently when I was registering voters that all politicians are the same and nothing ever changes. But I told him that if you look seriously at all the candidates and stand with them and hold them to their promises, then things really can change. He just needed to look at the president's record. This man heard that, said he would vote. In those moments, I realized how important it is that we all work even harder for every vote, because each one could be the difference. That's the idea behind the campaigns. It takes one initiative, which is being led by our special guest. She's a strong and compassionate leader who's inspired people all across the country. She's an incredible wife and mother, and a parallel advocate for young kids and military families. And I'm proud to introduce America's First Lady, Michelle Obama.
Thank you, Ronell. That was a very kind introduction, and, it is completely inspiring for me to hear from a young man who has been working since he was 12 years old on this campaign. You make us so proud, and you remind me why we're in this. So I want to thank you, Ronell, for that introduction and for everything that you're doing for us at Hampton. And, of course, I want to thank everyone who is on this call. Thank you all for the work that you're doing all around the country. And today, as you know, I'm calling you here in Charlotte. I'm in Charlotte, and we are kicking off the Democratic National Convention. And I am proud and excited to be the keynote speaker tonight. So it's a busy day for us. But before I go out there and really fire the crowd up, I wanted to make sure that I took the time out to talk with all of you. Because even on a big day like this, I wanted to make sure that I was connecting with some of what we consider our biggest supporters. And I really mean that. College students like all of you, you all are some of the most important people in our campaign. You're some of the best volunteers, as you heard from people like Ronell, passionate, committed, always rolling your sleeves up. You're putting in the hours, making phone calls and knocking on doors and registering voters and organizing events and meetings in campuses all over the country. And you're leading the way for your school and for your communities. And every single day, you all should know that you're providing the energy and the passion that has always been the engine behind Barack's campaigns. And I know that you're doing this not just because it's fun, although it's hard work, it can be fun. And I know that you're not just doing it because we all want to win an election, although we do, and we will. We're going to win this. I know you're involved because you know how much is at stake in November. As college students, you can see how important things are every time you look at your tuition bill or your student loan statement. And Barack and I we know what that feels like. I always remember what life is like when Barack and I were just starting out our life together. We were holding down jobs and out of school, out of law school. We had bought our first condominium, and we found that our combined monthly student loan bill was actually higher than our first mortgage. And it wasn't until 8 years ago that we finally finished paying off our student loans. That was 8 years ago, right? I was 40. Our kids were born and alive and breathing. But even with all those loans, we can look back and see that we're where we are today because of the opportunities that our education gave us. And I can't say that enough. Education was the key to everything that we've been able to do as adults. And that's why Barack doubled funding for Pell Grants, which means that millions of students are paying less for college than they did when he first took office. That's why he fought so hard to reform a broken student loan system and worked so hard to stop student loan interest rates from rising and created a tax credit that has saved families up to $10,000 on college tuition over 4 years. See, Barack believes that whether it's a 2-year program or a 4-year program, whether it's, whatever, higher education you're getting, he understands that higher education simply can't be a luxury in this country. It's an economic necessity that everybody should be able to afford. So when it comes to making college affordable, Barack's got your back. And he's got your back in so many other ways as well. When he passed that historic health reform, he made sure that women, for example, could have access to free preventative care, things like mammograms and contraception. And he made sure that all of you, young people, could stay on your parents' insurance until you're 26 years old so that you don't lose your insurance right when you need it most, right after you graduate from college and you're out there trying to look for a job and build lives for yourselves. And when Barack's working to rebuild this economy, it's important that you all know he's thinking about you. He wants to make sure that your hard work is rewarded so that you can get a job when you graduate and maybe you can own a home someday and be able to provide for your families when you start creating those on your own. And he's also working every single day to make sure that no matter where you come from, what you look like, or who you love, you're going to be treated fairly in this country. So, I could go on and on and on. But I just want all of you to think that, before you go into that voting booth in November, and I know that for most of you, this is going to be the first time that you cast a vote for president. But I want you, before you go in, I want you to ask yourselves, who's going to stand up for me in the White House? And I want you to think about that. Who's going to stand up for me? And if you know the answer to that question, and I don't think you'd be on this call if you didn't, we're going to need you to stand up for Barack. And we need you to do that between now and November. The time is growing near. We've just got a couple of months. We need you to have his back. And that starts by simply registering to vote. And many of you should know you can just go to gottavote.org to learn everything you need to know about registering to vote on your campus or in your hometown. And once you've registered, we're going to need you to make sure that everyone you know registered, all of your friends, the people in your lives. And we need you to make sure that they actually vote once they've registered. We want you to think about how can you help other people request a mail-in ballot if they decide to do it that way. Or maybe you can work with them to take them to vote early if that's an option available on your campus. Or maybe you can walk with them to their polling place on November the 6th. The fact is that we know that this election hangs in the balance, and we know that young people and new voters like many of you are the ones who could put this election over the top. So we need the presence of our campaign to be as strong as possible on your campuses, and I want you all to be thinking about that in the coming weeks. And that leads me to my second ask. I want each of you on this call to join the Students for Obama chapter on your campuses. These are the teams that are designed to help us win on campuses all around the country. Students for Obama. And we need your help registering new voters through these organizations, through this organization, through these chapters. We need you to help sign up new volunteers and make sure that your whole community feels the energy of this campaign. For the next 2 months, we're going to need everything you all have got. Truly, time's ticking. Young people like you all are going to provide the spark that's going to be needed. You did that back in 2008, and we're going to need you to do it again in 2012. So talk to your friends, talk to your family members, talk to them like Ronell has been doing. Talk to them about Barack's vision. Please talk to him about the values that he brings to the presidency that has led to all of these significant policy accomplishments. And truly, don't forget to talk to your own parents, because you never want to estimate how much you can inspire them as well, your parents and your grandparents. This is something that I heard in the last election from a lot of older people who were not going to vote for Barack, but it was because their children and their grandchildren were so passionate about this candidacy that they moved them to get involved. People who were registered Republicans, became Obama supporters, and it was because of young people like all of you in their lives. We want you to register your roommates, register the person sitting next to you in class. Don't let anyone escape your grasp. Join your Students for Obama chapter again, because we've got them in campuses all across the city. Do everything you can between now and November to help move this country forward. Because if you do, just think about this. In 10 or 20 years, you're going to be able to look back and say that in this election, when the stakes were so high, when the country was at a crossroads, you can tell your kids that I did my part. You can tell them I was involved in moving this country forward. I changed history, because that's what's at stake. So keep that in mind. We want you all to get good educations. We want you to prepare yourselves to be the leaders of the future. But we also want you to own this process, because if you don't get involved, your voice won't be heard. And this is going to be the country that you all inherit. So we want you to be invested in it, and it starts now. So I want to thank you all. Thank you for the work that you're doing. Thank you for the sweat and the passion that you've already put into the campaign. And thank you in advance for everything you're doing right now and what you're going to do in the next 2 months to help us over the top. So I hope you guys tune in tonight. I'm giving a big speech, if you hadn't heard. So I hope all of you are going to be listening. And I look forward to seeing you guys all out there on the campaign trail. So thank you guys. Keep working hard. Don't get tired. 2 more months. Keep pushing. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Daniel, who's going to give you even more information on how you can get involved in this campaign and get involved on campuses. So don't hang up. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, First Lady, and thanks for taking time to speak with us today. My name is Daniel Pfister, and I'm a sophomore at the University of Dayton. I'm a campus organizer and have been involved with the campaign since last February.